Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous, hosted by Bruce Hutchin. I'm so happy you've joined us today, and you're going to find out a lot about whitetail hunting on the show. This is Whitetail Rendezvous, episode number 300. Hey, folks, we got a new sponsor. It's called Buckwild Coffee. What's so special about Buckwild Coffee? Well, a gazillion people go to Starbucks every day and drink coffee. Well, why shouldn't Buckwild Coffee offer you light, medium, or dark roast with free shipping? All you have to do is go to whitetailrendezvous.com, go to shop, and order your coffee, and I'll ship it out for free. Hey, thanks so much for visiting Buckwild Coffee. The best brew in the West, the best brew around the campfire, the best brew in the hunting shack, the best brew anywhere. Buckwild Coffee. Get yours today. 68. Hey, folks, welcome Tim Schreckengost to Whitetail Rendezvous. Tim is the general manager at Skope. If you haven't heard about Skope, you sure ought to, because if you go out with your spotting scopes or binoculars and you want to take a picture of a lifetime of that buck that's just out of your normal camera range, Skope, it's got the deal for you. It's great for long range scouting where you can sit in your truck, put up your heavy glass and take pictures, and that buck never knows you're there. There's a lot of uses of Skope, and I'm pleased to have Tim Schreckengost on the show today. It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is a special episode for me. Why? Because the gear we're going to talk about, Skope, was a big pal of mine. I've got pictures to prove it, over 3 miles, big mule deer, big rams, and Tim Schreckengost is the manager of Skope. He's also an avid outdoorsman, so I'm excited to have the man behind Skope on the phone with us today. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bruce, thanks for having me on, man.
Well, let's start right off. How was I able to get those pictures 3.5 miles away of that bighorn ram?
So the Skope system allows you to hook your phone up to a spotting scope to take pictures through it. It's very simple, very easy to use. It's a 2-piece system. I believe you used an iPhone 5 and a Vortex Razor spotting scope. So you have the iPhone 5 case and then the optic adapter for the Vortex Razor. You pair the two together, put your phone in the phone case, and then you slide it over the scope, and you can take a picture of anything that you're seeing through the spotting scope. It's very easy to use. I love it, man, and that picture was awesome.
And folks, in Tim's proof, you could actually see it was a bighorn ram. You could see its curl, and you could see his body, and it's 3.5 miles away.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and who started this? How did it all come together?
So it started. I think it started in 2010 is when the idea came about. It was either 2009 or 2010. Tracy and Cheston Davis from Beaver, Utah. It's a father-son combo there. They were just out, scouting or looking at elk or deer. And then I believe they had probably an iPhone 4 then. And they were like, well, why aren't we, we're trying to take a picture through the spotting scope. Why don't we make an adapter for this? And that's where it all started and just kind of really took off. So just basically to make something easy and useful for the field to be able to capture whatever you're seeing in the field and bring it back home with you. That was the whole point. That's kind of how it started.
And in the warm-up, you shared that you had started as a birder from the birder side of the business. And I have a lot of friends that are birders, travel around the world, have thousands and thousands of dollars of optics, just like I do. And so tell us how this tool is so valuable for birders.
So the biggest thing that I got out of the phone scope when birding is that I used it for is documenting rarities. So a lot of times when you're using a spotting scope, and you're looking through shorebirds or ducks or and whatnot, or staking out a feeder from a distance. A spotting scope. A lot of folks use spotting scopes for that, and I would just hook my phone up, take video or picture for proof that I saw a rare bird. I mean, that to me that was the biggest thing, and then it kind of transformed into actual bird photography, not just rarity documentation, but actual photography, where I would leave my expensive DSLR at home and I would take my scope anyway. So I would just take my phone scope, spotting scope, and Bluetooth shutter button, and then I would leave my other camera at home. So it kind of transformed into that kind of just normal, quote unquote, normal bird photography, instead of just documenting rare birds. So, I mean, a lot of folks take their spotting scopes a lot of birders take their spotting scopes with them everywhere they go. When they go to work, they leave their scope in the car. So, not always their camera, and having the phone scope, you always have your phone on you. So if you have both of those, spotting scope and your phone, the phone scope just, kind of gives you the ability to take pictures and document whatever you're seeing.
Thanks for that. And a lot of my listeners will send me emails and say, Bruce, how do you get into the outdoor industry? And so what was your entry into Phone Scope?
So my entry in the Phone Scope was back in 2011. They were kind of advertising on Twitter for pro staff, and I just applied for the birding pro staff and came on, and so I just took pictures for them basically, and then that kind of just led into doing, like, I pretty much became their bird guy, and so as I was going through school, so that was back in when I was an undergrad at Penn State, and I came on as their birding pro staff, and then I became their bird guy. But when I was in grad school, the last few years, I built a relationship with Phone Scope, and started doing running some of their social media for the birding side of things, and going to trade shows, birding trade shows, birding festivals, as their bird guy. And then they hired me, on full time, because basically a number of volunteer hours kind of proved my worth, in my my work ethic. And then they brought me on full time as their bird guy in January of last year. So basically, it just kind of started. I mean, we're a small company, just giving pretty much everything I could to them, within reason, that that I could give, effort wise and time wise, and basically just my loyalty and dedication to the company kind of landed me a position with them when I finished school. So
takeaways from that, listeners: one, he began as an intern. Two, he had a tremendous interest in what this apparatus, this piece of gear, could do, and he went out and did it and took hundreds of pictures, gave them to Phone Scope. He was on their pro staff, so he gave them to him. Never asked for a dime, just did it, and he did it so well that it turned into a full-time position. So, in a time when people are saying, I can't get a job, well, go create a job out of something you love to do, and you'll be surprised what happens. Your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, that, to me, I get that question too all the time. How do you get into the industry? And that, I mean, to me, it's just, if you're using a product and you love it, and basically you just have to show the company that you love it and try to give them as much content as you can. Basically, like you said, as an intern, and basically just volunteer everything that you have for that company. Even volunteer to go to a trade show. If they're going, if they're going to be at one, and whatnot. Just kind of, if you love a company so much, like I do Phone Scope, I love the product. I love everything the company stands for, and so that's why I'm still here. With the company. I just love everything about it, and I'll never use another digiscoping adapter other than Phone Scope, because I just love the product, and I wouldn't be sitting here saying that if I didn't. So how trying to get into the industry, I mean, that's what it comes down to, just putting in the time and effort and just trying to make that company kind of like notice you, I guess, and just that way they follow what you bring to the table, kind of bring everything you can to the table just consistently. So high quality stuff, just very consistently. Try to like interact with the company. You know, not in kind of like trying to say here, kind of not. So don't. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say don't be like in your face with a company, but just kind of show them what you can do, basically, consistently. So sorry, I kind of went on a rant there, but
well said. Hey, Tim, how do people get a hold of you? If you got an office number, great, or your email, or on social media.
Yeah, so they can get in touch with me. My email is tim@phoneskope.com, and that's scope with a K. My direct line, I can give you that. It's 814-952-2934. And you can get to me through any of the PhoneSkope social media channels. I handle nearly all of the social media, and that's just PhoneSkope or at PhoneSkope. And again, Skope with a K. Or on my personal stuff, it's just at the Buck Rub. So yeah, that's how you can get a hold of me.
Okay, and just let people know you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
Snapchat, but we don't really use it.
Okay.
So more Instagram and Facebook, and dabbling in Twitter, but also YouTube as well. So.
Okay, and thanks for that. And
Yep.
I got a present for you about Twitter. I'll send you an email with a present, so you'll like that. Anyway, so I'm a whitetail hunter. I believe in long distance glassing. Why? Because I live out west. Went to school in Wisconsin, married a Wisconsin girl, and then headed west, and that's where I live in Colorado. So I've used long glass for a long time, antelope, and every single critter. But of late, last few years, I went, okay, I'm really going to hunt Mr. Wonderful, and I know where he comes out and where he comes in, but I'm gonna observe him. So I'm hunting him with my optics. I'm not hunting him from a tree stand, and that has paid dividends. And so let's talk about that long distance scouting with PhoneSkope.
So basically, being able to watch from a distance, as you said, using a spotting scope and being able to record everything about that animal with your phone using the PhoneSkope is just invaluable information that, if you're just looking at it through the spotting scope from a distance, and not capturing it with any device, basically, you could forget whatever you saw, whenever you go home. So being able to watch that animal, on the phone screen, one, it helps, with your eyes. You're not just, looking through that scope for, an extended period of time. You can just watch it on your phone and record it at the same time, with video or pictures, and record everything that deer is moving, or that animal is doing. So that, to me, that's probably the number one thing. And, you could, show your friends if you want to, but if you're hunting that, that buck that you're after, you're probably not going to want to share too much information with them, but maybe after the fact. So
you share with me something interesting about using PhoneSkope from the tree stand. Let's take that apart and tell our listeners why that would be so valuable for them.
Yeah. So I live in Pennsylvania. So we in bow season or in archery season, we're in the tree stand for the most part, right? There are folks that hunt from the ground or from ground blinds, but, the majority of folks are likely hunting from a tree stand. And if they're like me, I always have binoculars with me. And so, I mean, earlier this year, or not this year, in the fall, as I was in the tree stand, this was actually my first year bow hunting. I've rifle hunted my entire life, but this was my first, this last year is my first year bow hunting. And I found that, it was just kind of fun and and enjoyable. If you see a deer in the distance, doe or a small buck, or scrub bucks coming right into the tree stand or whatever, obviously, not a legal buck or whatnot, not a shooter buck. But just to be able to pull your phone, your binoculars up and hook your phone up to your binoculars and record a video of that deer walking by, or making a scrape or whatnot, just through your binoculars from the tree stand. So you're getting, instead of, I mentioned this earlier, or in the warm up, that instead of zooming with your phone to take the picture and it's real grainy, you hook it up to your binoculars. You already have 8 or 10 power, and that's the deer is full frame, or you can get the head as a full frame. If it's a small buck, I had numerous encounters of scrub bucks that aren't legal in Pennsylvania walk right underneath the tree stand, and I'm able to, because I have my phone in my pocket, pull it out, binos on the chest, attach it real quick, a couple seconds, and I'm recording, that buck walking by, being able to show it to my, my family and friends after the fact. So the same thing goes with those too. I mean, it's just cool, man, to be able to capture basically anything that's going on. You likely have your phone on you in the woods, and also a pair of binoculars. So I take mine everywhere I go, and it's just super easy to do and fun.
So here's an idea, and you heard it first on Whitetail Rendezvous with Phone Skope. So anyway, you're out there, folks, and all the footage that you take, short videos, we're talking 90-second videos. So if you sent them to Tim, he could pick the best Phone Skope video, and then they could put. Whitetail Rendezvous is pleased to announce a partnership with GoHunt.com. Who's GoHunt.com? Well, if you're a DIY hunter, you need the information at GoHunt.com/insider. Why? Because it provides 4,200 profiles, every unit, every species, and every season. Furthermore, they give in-depth analysis, interactive maps, unit access, and seasonal trends. Draw odds are very important, and they give you the most accurate information in the business. All this is available when you go to GoHunt.com/insider. Make sure you use promo code WR when you join Insider. You'll get a $50 gift card for GoHunt.com Gear Shop. All in all, if you're hunting out west in 2018, GoHunt.com Insider is where you need to be to get all the research information. When you use promo code WR, Whitetail Rendezvous receives a small commission from GoHunt.com. Put it on their website. What do you think of that idea, Tim?
Yeah, man. I'm all for that. We could put it on the website, put it on our YouTube channel. If you take a video and you want to share it with us, we can share it all over the place. It doesn't have to be on our website. Our social media. Like I said, we're all about getting people excited about the outdoors. And if you have an exciting clip and you send it to me, there's a good chance that I'm going to get really stoked about it, and I'm going to want to share it with our followers. And so obviously, I give photo and video credit to everyone that gives us content. So if you have something exciting that you want the world to see, just send it my way, and I'd love to see it. But yeah, man, that's a good idea. We don't get enough of that, but I would love to have a personal, kind of like one-on-one conversation with anyone that has an awesome clip in their pocket.
So and then we can call it Phone Skope. Take one, or I don't know. You and I'll talk about it. But anyway, presented by Whitetail Rendezvous. And one thing I'll do, I have some friends over at Treason, and so the best of each month, we'll figure something out from Treason. I'll figure it out with them so we can make it. Or the grand prize winner could be something from Phone Skope. I don't want to spend your money, but.
Yeah, we. I mean, if you want to do a monthly thing, man, we can do a monthly thing. I'm very flexible on that. So let's talk. Treason, and Phone Skope and Whitetail Rendezvous. So let's do it.
And hey, folks, if you think that's a good idea, send a Tim an email at phoneskope.com, or send one to Brutes at whitetailrendezvous@gmail.com. And if we get some good traction, and I'm going to put it up on my social media, Tim, why don't you do that too, and see if we get any buzz about it. If we do, let's put something together, because that would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Rock with it.
All right. So let's talk about Tim and hunting. We talked about half the show about phone scope and how to use it, and how great it is. And folks, it is a great product. So if you haven't invested in a phone scope for your iPhone, um, and whatever spotting scope you have, and it also fits on binoculars, monoculars. What else does it fit on, Tim?
Telescopes, microscopes. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in the medical field that I don't even know what it's called. Basically, anything with kind of like an eye cup and an eye relief of about less than an inch, it'll work on. And we can make an adapter for anything. Basically anything. 99% of the stuff out there, we can make an adapter for it. So super easy and versatile, and just simple to use. That's what I love about it, man.
So let's talk about, in the last 10 minutes of the show, let's talk about Tim and hunting and whitetail and how you became addicted and obsessed with hunting whitetails and hunting those limestone creeks in Pennsylvania for trout.
Yeah. So the kind of like not the short story, but earlier we talked about how I was a birder, and I was very, 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 very obsessed with bird watching. And that's what I studied. I studied ornithology in grad school. So basically, hunting and fishing kind of went on the back burner for me until I started full time with a phone scope when I finished school. And so we were at the Western Hunting Expo last year. And of course, I've kind of always been interested in it, like over the past few years, but just not obsessed, and not really like active. But last year at the Western Hunting Expo, Donald Trump Jr. gave a short presentation and basically, or a speech, and basically what it came down to was we need to get more people involved in the outdoors and get them excited and keep them interested. And I took that and ran with it. And so basically, when I moved from grad school, I moved from Delaware to Western Pennsylvania, closer to family. My wife and I moved here, and there aren't very many birders here that are kind of my age, or that I kind of, not that like in the town I live in, I don't even know if there are any. So I kind of got out of that and kind of I've been spending more time with my family who are hunters, and they picked up bow hunting last year. And so I picked up bow hunting as well. And that's all I did last year. I picked up bow hunting and fly fishing. And so that's my life, besides my family, has been focused on that, shooting my bow, figuring out how to, fly fish, dry flying and wet, nymphing and trying to mash the hatch and everything. And trying to figure out where the fish are in the stream, and then trying to pattern deer as well. Trail, I bought a bunch of trail cams, so I'm trying to pattern deer, and then trying to, understand the wind. It's just, everything. It's so challenging, fly fishing and bow hunting. It's such a challenge. That's what I love about it, man. I mean, that's kind of what got me obsessed, and that's all I think about. That is it. I mean, that besides, my family, obviously that comes first, but hunting and fishing, ever since that talk by Donald Trump Jr. and trying to get people interested and excited about the outdoors, like I've been obsessed and with that, and trying to get more people excited about the outdoors, and trying to get my family and my friends to do more. And one of my good friends, he hasn't fished or hunted in probably a good 5 or 6 years. And just from him seeing how excited I was about fly fishing this year, like he started fishing again and actually tying flies, and and hunting. So I mean, that's my goal now in life, is to try to get as many people interested and keep them interested in the outdoors. I don't care what the age is, whether they're a toddler or a senior citizen. It doesn't matter to me. I want to try to get them in the outdoors. But birding has not left me at all. When I'm out there, I'm still listening to everything and identifying everything. I'm just not actively doing it anymore. It's just kind of like a side thing for me, and the hunting and fishing has definitely taken over my life, but it's a good thing.
Thanks for that. And folks, if you've never fly fished, um, uh, trout has holding water, trout has feeding lanes, a trout has security cover. He
Yep.
just lives in water. Okay, whitetail he needs water, and he needs food, and he needs cover. Same thing with fly fishing. And if you never sight fish for a big rising brown trout, rainbow, even brook trout, you're missing out on something, because there's nothing in my world. There's nothing more satisfying than have a trout rise to your fly. You hook it, you fight it, you let it go, and you did it on a fly that you tied yourself. You created that that mimicking. I can't think of of the word. For the fly, I was started trying to think of the smart $5 scientific word, but it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter.
Right.
You did it, and you created it. Not unlike people who go out and build the traditional bow, nap arrowheads, and kill a deer with a flint arrow. They do it all, and they wrapped it. Well, that keeps us connected to the outdoors. However you look at it, that keeps us
Yep.
connected. And I just would echo what Tim said. Get a person involved. Take somebody out. Just have them be with you. Sit in your stand. Experience it. If they get cold, get out of your stand. You've got another day coming. So, invest in other people, and that's my little rant on that. And and we'll move on for sure. And then, where do you think the industry is going? You're a young man in the industry. You see how social media sometimes really tears us apart as hunters. Where do you think this whole thing's going, Tim?
Just the hunting
Yes.
industry as a
Yeah.
man. I don't think it's going to stop growing. I mean, sure, you have the battles on social media daily. With the I hate saying this, with the opposition, but you know it's growing, man. With the younger people getting more and more involved, you see young hunting and fishing, groups, popping up all over the place, and then also all the females too, the female hunters and fishers that are getting involved and getting very very active in the industry. So the industry is kind of diversifying, but we're all united as one with that one mission to keep growing and to get more people excited and interested and just involved. So I think it's going to keep growing. I don't see any reason why it's going to slow down. Like I said, with the younger crowd coming to life, and also the females too, the women, it's a force to be reckoned with, man. I'm looking forward to seeing, being involved with the industry, and seeing where it takes us. But honestly, that's what I think. I really don't know though.
Well, I value opinion. You're in the business. You work for an extremely successful company, and so your words count.
I appreciate that, man. But where do you think it's going to go? I want to hear your opinion on it.
Well, I'm on the back end, so my whitetail. I started hunting 10 years old. I started hunting 60 years ago, if you can believe that. But anyway, so I've seen, where more and more people hunted, and more people fly fished, and it kept growing. Then it kind of hit a plateau where people continued doing it, but wasn't the same transition. But the biggest impact I've seen is how women have embraced the outdoors, simply because single parents, and if their kids say, hey, I'd like to try this, okay, I better learn how to do it along that. Plus, with single women and gals, when their boyfriends go out for the weekend, they don't want to be left home alone, so they go, I don't think so. And so they're camoing up, and they're going archery hunting, they're going elk hunting, and I see a resurgence. And the political climate be as it may, I think we're seeing some things already that have changed maybe the perception of whose land is it. I know there's a big land fight battle going on right now, but I see a lot of future because of people like you, Tim. I've had Lake Alma on. He's 16 years old, and he has a radio show, and he talks, about the future of hunting. And the more we have of younger people talking about the future of hunting, the more we have younger people on pro staffs, the more we have people engaging others and welcoming into the community. Because around the campfire, we're all common ground: age, money, um, PhD, or work at the local tire store. It doesn't matter because we all have common ground. Why? Because we're hunters and we understand it's not just the kill; it's the whole experience. It's adventure. It's a coming of age. I can remember my sons and my grandsons. They came of age hunting. That's when they came of age, carrying their gun and taking the responsibility of taking a critter's life and doing it ethically and with respect. And so, if you can get that out into the community and out into the world, people will get a different viewpoint. Not 100%, of course, but I think that's where we're going.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. That's the big thing is teaching everyone that you're introducing to the outdoors, uh, that to do everything with respect for the land that you're on. That's one of the big things that I do every time I'm out is I pick up trash. To me that you got to respect the land that you're on, and that to me that should appeal to a lot of other folks too. Not just hunters, but so cleaning up the land, and also doing everything ethically as possible. That and teaching everyone that you're getting involved with the outdoors, teaching them how to to do it that way, and then they're going to be more happier. It's kind of a win-win doing it like that. So basically, you got to practice what you preach, and just try to do everything the right way. And obviously everyone has their opinion on what's the right way, but responsible. So.
Saying with that, why don't you give a shout out because we're bumping against the hard stop on the show. So take a minute. You got the mic. Give some shout outs, and then we'll wrap the show.
Yeah, so obviously we're talking about phone scope, so I'm going to give a shout out to my boss Cheston, and his dad Tracy, and then also the folks that work at phone scope, Jason, Shelby, and Tanner Jackson, and then everyone that our engineers and everything that we work many hours of the day, doing everything. So everyone at the shop, everyone that's ever been involved with phone scope, and then also with our friends in the industry, and then from a personal perspective, my family and my wife, and soon son to be here in a few weeks. So and all of my good friends. But yeah, man, and I'm gonna give a shout out to you for having me on the show.
Well, Tim, on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America, actually, we have a lot of veterans who listen to the show wherever they're deployed. I appreciate you. I appreciate what Phone Scope is doing because it allows us to capture memories and allows us to bring our adventures home in a very simple way. Um, and that's a wonderful thing because you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You get your phone, you get the phone code adapter, and then you have your optics, and you're in business. So thank you so much, and I wish you well, and I look forward to having you on the show again. Hey, folks, we got a new sponsor. It's called Buckwild Coffee. What's so special about Buckwild Coffee? Well, a gazillion people go to Starbucks every day and drink coffee. Well, why shouldn't Buckwild Coffee offer you light, medium, or dark roast with free shipping? All you have to do is go to whitetailrendezvous.com, go to shop, and order your coffee, and I'll ship it out for free. Hey, thanks so much for visiting Buckwild Coffee. The best brew in the West, the best brew around the campfire, the best brew in the hunting shack, the best brew anywhere. Buckwild Coffee. Get yours today.
Thanks, Bruce, and thanks for having me, man. It was nice chatting with you.
On the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, we invite Tim Cool. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy because he recently moved to the land of the giants, as state of Iowa is now called. And so he can hunt. But more important than that, he's got 6 buddies that form Prodigy Outdoors. He's going to share all about that.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.